Hi there, welcome to my channel. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Nursing with Ingrid. Thank you so very much for stopping by yet once again, and a huge thank you for the recent shout out that I got from Sims Rights channel. I absolutely appreciate it. And to all my new subscribers, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today I'm going to be discussing a topic that is coming back from my finance video. Today we're going to be looking at what it takes when you are going to make a big purchase, such as buying your first car. So what should you know, or what should you be aware of before you make a major purchase, especially like buying your very first car? And the reason why I'm making this video is because I've made a few mistakes with my first car, and I don't want people to go into those kinds of traps. If we can avoid it, let's do the right thing from the get-go. Firstly, you need to look at your budget. You need to know how much you have or how much you are prepared to spend on a vehicle every month going forward, whether you are going to put down a deposit, which is advisable. Whether you're going to put down a deposit, that is also something that you need to sit down before you even go out looking for a vehicle. That is what you need to sit down and decide. How much are you prepared to put down as a deposit? Secondly, how much can you afford every single month? So that gives you a guideline within which you will be able to go out and look for the right vehicle for your needs. The second thing that you need to look out for is, what are you going to be using your vehicle for? Are you going to be using it from A to B every single day? Are you going to be using it for business purposes? Are you going to be traveling a lot? That is also something very important that you need to take into consideration before you go out and buy a vehicle. Okay, so once you've started now, you've got your budget, you know how much you will be able to spend every single month towards the repayments of your vehicle, and also including your insurance for that vehicle. Now you've got to look at what you are going to use your vehicle for. If it's to go to work every single day, then you also have the leeway of buying something that fits within that need. You always got to consider your need. There's no use buying a big vehicle that is going to be sitting parked in the parking lot all day, and you're driving it for an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon. If you're looking for comfort because you're on the road all the time, that is something that you need to take into consideration, and you will look for something that is a little bit more comfortable, that is a little bit more easier to drive and more pleasurable to drive. Now, before you even get to your dealership, you've got to do your research. Research what car you're looking at, what price range does it fall in, what additions you would like, what you don't want, what is absolutely a non-negotiable before you even go out into the dealership. Because once you get into the dealership, the car salespeople are the most professional salespeople out there. They will sell you something that you absolutely cannot afford. You will fall in love with it, and that is it. That is what they are there to do most times. But you do get some very ethical salespeople that will advise you accordingly as well. Now you're in the dealership, you're looking around at cars within your price range, or you know exactly what vehicle you're wanting to have. You've asked questions, you've researched, you've watched YouTube videos where they've done the reviews on these vehicles. However, I'm going to say at this point, you always got to remember that when it comes to reviews, it's sometimes a very biased review that you will get. So it's not really what you are looking for. They will tell you all the wonderful things, or they'll tell you all the bad things not to buy a particular vehicle because of their inherent biases or preferences. When you're looking at the reviews, look at them from a perspective of taking information out of it. Don't take it as the gospel, and don't take it as, okay, this car is X, Y, and Z, and that is what you're going to expect out of it. No, take that into consideration when you are going into the dealership. Now you're at the dealership. you see the vehicle that you like, please, first and foremostly, before you make any decisions, look at your price range. If you're comfortable with your price range, please request a test drive, because that will tell you whether that is the car for you or whether it isn't. And I am saying this out of experience, because my very first vehicle, I did not test drive, I did not do research, I bought it on impulse. I absolutely bought my first vehicle on impulse. I was bored, I had nothing to do, I was filling up time, and I was messing around in a dealership shop when I shouldn't have been. And I ended up buying a vehicle. So I'm telling you this now as with a little bit of experience after buying quite a few cars subsequent to the first vehicle that I had. So I went into the dealership purely because I had time to kill, and I was just looking around. And by the end of that 1 hour of looking around, I had already signed potential papers, and an hour later I was approved for vehicle financing, and the next day I had a vehicle. You don't want to do it that way. You want to be smart about your money. You want to be smart about what you're buying, because buying a vehicle, you've got to remember, a vehicle is something that depreciates. So when you do go out and you are so mesmerized and you are so seduced by this vehicle, at the end of the day, the minute you drive it out, it's lost value. And as time goes on, it may not have been something that you would have bought in the first place if you had not done your research, if you had not sat down with your finances, looked at your finances, and been dead honest with yourself and said, you know what, this is what I need, this is what I can afford, and this is what I'm going for. Right. So, taking my mistakes from my first vehicle, those are the things that I would say absolutely that is something that you need to do. You need to do your research. You need to ask a lot of questions. And most importantly, you have to take the vehicle for a test drive. Please, when you go and buy a vehicle, do not go alone, especially when you're going to do the test drive. Go with somebody else that is going to be a passenger in the back seat, so they can also give you feedback on the experience when you've got passengers in that particular car. Are they going to be comfortable? Is it a noisy car when you're on the road? Is it something that rattles and shakes and does all these things? Believe me, there's vehicles out there that really are not good. They look fantastic on the outside, but when you get to driving them, it's a whole different story. So when you do a test drive, or when you do book a test drive, please do go with somebody that is going to sit in the back and be a passenger, and also have that driving experience or being driven experience. So then you can compare notes with each other. If you're comfortable driving the car, if you like the car, the bells and the whistles, your passenger enjoys the experience of driving in a vehicle like that, then you've got your answers, half of your answers are answered. So you've done your test drive, you go home, you sit down, you look at the pros and cons of the vehicle. Is it something that you really want to buy? Yes, it is. Then you go ahead and you buy your vehicle. Remember that also you've also got to take into consideration how long are you willing to keep that vehicle. If you want to be changing your vehicle every 3 years, then that is also something that you need to take into consideration. Your mileage, how many kilometers are you going to do on a daily basis, monthly basis, yearly basis? Those are all things that you need to take into consideration when you are buying a vehicle. Personally, my first vehicle was a Fiat Palio, the second edition, 2003 model. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I had it for the longest time until I had to part ways with it. So it gave me value for money, even though initially it was not something that I should have bought, but at the end of the day, it was something that I needed and I enjoyed and I kept for a very long time. Now it comes time for us to think about when you're going to do a trade-in. When you are going in to trade in your vehicle, guys, don't take the first offer that you get for your trade-in. If you've got low mileage and your vehicle is fairly old, your vehicle is fairly in good condition, don't take the first trade-in value that you get. Shop around and get the best price and get an idea of what the trade-in value is supposed to be. I'll give you an example as well. When I traded in my Palio for the Ford Fiesta, the 2010 sports version, I went to a dealership that offered me 12,000 rands for my Fiat Palio. When I went to the Ford dealership, I got 27,000 rands for the very same vehicle. So therefore, that's why I'm saying you need to shop around and you'll find the best deal and the best value for money out of the vehicle that you've already used, and that you can use as your down payment for the next vehicle that you buy. So when it comes to trade-ins, please don't go to the first person that is willing to trade in your vehicle, because they are going to go in as cheap as possible. The end goal is for them to make a profit out of your very same vehicle. They're going to put it on the floor tomorrow and somebody else is going to buy it, and you will be horrified if you go into the same dealership after you've traded in your vehicle and you'll see it there on the used car floor and it's double or triple the price that they gave you as a trade-in. So therefore, when it comes to the trade-ins, don't take the first offer. Shop around and get the best that you can get for your vehicle as a down payment for your new vehicle. Another thing to consider is whether or not you are going to buy a used car or you're going to buy a brand new car. When it comes to buying a brand new car, the minute you buy that vehicle, the moment you drive it off that showroom floor, it depreciates by approximately 10%. And that will depend on who you speak to with regards to depreciation and financial guys and financial gurus. I'm just speaking from my experience. Personally, even though I know the vehicle is going to depreciate dramatically after I drive it off the floor, I generally buy a brand new vehicle for various reasons, personal reasons. But if you are going to be looking into buying second-hand vehicles, you've got to look at the mileage, you've got to look at the warranty that is left on that vehicle, you've got to look at whether it's sustainable for you given what you're going to use it for. It all goes back to those first questions in the beginning. When you're budgeting, when you're planning, what are your needs? What are you going to use it for? So if you're going in for a second-hand, another used vehicle that is fairly new and that is what you're opting for, then you've also got to take those things into consideration. What you're going to use the vehicle for. Is it going to give you longevity? Are you going to be able to pay it off and still have it for a few years more before you buy another vehicle? Those are things that you really need to ask yourself when you're going in to buy a vehicle, when you're going in to buy your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever. But you're getting the idea. So basically, you've got a plan, you've got a budget, you've got to know what you're going to use the vehicle for. When it comes to people that use the vehicle for business purposes, like I was a medical sales representative, then you're going to look for something that is both comfortable, durable, and it is going to last you for a couple of years before you trade it in. And when you do trade it in, you are going to get good value for money from that vehicle, because as sales representatives, you're on the road every single day. You are racking up that mileage like you won't believe. So you also need to consider things like that. If you are also driving around from place to place, if your job makes you drive around from place to place in your own vehicle, then you also got to take those things into consideration when you are buying a vehicle. And then just a little bit of etiquette around buying vehicles and buying homes and buying things like that, your big purchases. When you go in, always be nice. Hope this video helps you. I hope it's helped you so far. And for all of those people that are going to be buying new vehicles for the very first time, I wish you all the best of luck going out there and navigating through the dealerships and finances and all of those things. But overall, buying a vehicle is a very rewarding feeling. It's a very rewarding experience. And the main thing that I want you to take away from this video as well is start with what you can afford. Eventually you will get to where you want to B, when it comes to vehicles, just because your friend has this vehicle doesn't mean that you need to have it as well. If it doesn't fit your budget, it doesn't fit your budget. If it doesn't fit your needs, it doesn't fit your needs at all. So please be careful out there. Be mindful of every cent that you spend on anything that is going to depreciate, and make the most out of it. Enjoy that experience, enjoy the test run, enjoy the test, everything that's got to do with buying your vehicle. Enjoy that whole process, because it is a very rewarding and it's a very fun experience. I'm addicted to it, so I'm speaking for myself here. If you enjoyed this video at this point, please, I'd like to remind you to give it a massive thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. If there's something that I have missed out or I've forgotten to mention, all of you other people out there that have got more experience with buying vehicles or have something to add, please don't forget to put it down in the comment section down below. And I will see you in my next video. And with that, take care, God bless, goodbye.